Sexy lady.
Forgive me if I repeat myself, Miss Brown, but it's good to see you back.
Thank you, Mr. Carson.
Pete, I just have to disagree with you. The Minnesota multiphaser clearly shows that Arnie Rothman basically has a stable personality.
Liz, you see a bunch of numbers on paper, right? Well, I see a kid in class who never stops scratching.
Now, Arnie is nervous, but the boy I tested is not emotionally disturbed.
The boy in my class is.
Well, the boy and me would like his breakfast, so if you two don't mind, I will now put in my 2 cents.
That's why we're here.
Now, I've gone over his records. I agree with you. We should schedule him with our visiting psychologist whenever that learned gentleman chooses to make himself available. I think we should keep a close eye on him, but I think we should give it a month before we schedule any special schooling. Now, does that make everybody happy, or you want to fight some more?
Fight?
Who's fighting?
Good. I believe in less fighting and more reading. I'll be in the cafeteria. That's what I say. I'll be right here. Come in.
Hello, Mr. Kaufman. Am I disturbing you?
No, not a bit. But come in, Miss Brown. You look great.
Thank you.
You're just in time to meet your department head, Pete Dixon. Diana Brown.
How do you do?
Hello,
Miss
Mr. Dixon.
McIntyre, Diana Brown.
Hi, how are you? Well, I just dropped by to say hello.
Good.
See you later.
Welcome back. Welcome back, Miss
Thank you.
Brown. You know something? That young woman was one of the most exciting teachers we ever had in this school.
Why'd she leave?
The usual, to get married, of course.
Oh, then it's Mrs. Brown.
Not exactly. She's going through a divorce right now.
Oh.
She's going to be taking over Mrs. Goodman's social science class while she's on maternity leave.
Oh, that's the one. I don't know where I got the idea she was a lot older.
So we see that organized labor faced stiff opposition in its early efforts to win reform. Now, let's list a few of the methods that management used to resist. Blacklist, yellow door contracts. Foxy.
Quiet, man. You interfering with my concentration.
Lockout. Now, the gentleman that thinks I'm foxy. What is a yellow dog contract?
She got you there, brother.
I didn't read that page last night. Did anyone? Helen.
A yellow dog contract was a written agreement that a worker had to sign when he went for a job, promising he wouldn't join a union.
Very good. You see, those people must have really been in a bind. Yes? Suppose you were the sole support of a large family, and the only way that you could feed your kids was to sign a contract that would make you look like a fink to your friends. How would you feel?
I don't know.
Well, you do have feelings, don't you? Or is that optional equipment in your case?
Hey, my man Bernie figures he's got 2 eyes, 2 ears. He's ahead of the game.
Okay, Big Daddy, stand up. Let's see how you stack up. No, I mean it. Come on, stand up. We're going to have a little psychodrama. Larry, go to my desk. You too. The year is 1910. You are a foreman in a steel mill. You have strict orders to issue no union contracts. Jason, you're a European immigrant with 6 kids.
We don't tell my mama she ain't ready for that.
I'm grading on this little exercise, folks. Okay, Jason, you need a job? Go to it.
What do you want me to do?
You don't know? You lost the job. Sit down. Pam, would you like to try?
Okay. I understand you need some steel workers.
Yeah? You got experience?
Oh, yeah. I've worked in the steel mills all over.
Well, that's cool. You got the job.
Ask about the union.
Okay, Larry, back to the bread lines for you. What's your name?
Arnie Rothman.
It's funny. According to my seating chart, you're Sylvia Bernstein.
Sylvia moved.
Oh, excuse me, Sylvia moved. Would you like to be foreman? Helen?
I see here that you're experienced. Did you ever belong to a union?
Oh, no, no, sir.
Oh, good. Then if you want to work here, you have to sign this paper.
Oh, okay, all right.
Well, what do you think of that, workers?
Big! Don't sign it.
What do you mean, don't sign? What are my kids supposed to eat? Pride?
Okay, thank you very much, girls. Reach after 10 tonight. See you tomorrow. Oh, I appreciate your cooperation, girls. Thanks again.
Oh, you're welcome. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Boy, are you really on a diet today?
Would anyone care to discuss the weather?
Not me. I want to talk about Miss Brown like everybody else. Boy, she sure is good looking. You know, if I were 5 years older, I'd really be jealous. Well, better get my lunch. Toodles.
Helen, near perfect as usual. Pam, I like the way you phrase things. Jason, buy a dictionary. Bernie, you and Jason must have learned how to spell out of the same comic book. Arnie, what can I say to you about this assignment? I mean, where do I begin? Spelling, punctuation, grammar are abominable. Research, non-existent. Try it again, Arnie. I won't even grade you on that. I mean, I can't. The alphabet doesn't go that low.
Okay, for the next 4 weeks, we're going to be discussing some contemporary American problems. Women. Okay. Starting tomorrow, we'll discuss women as a contemporary problem.
Well, Mr. Dixon, I don't think that women are the problem. I think it's men understanding where we are instead of where they want us to be.
Okay, Pam. Then you research the changing role of women. Anybody else?
How about the effects of desegregation?
Okay, that's good. That'll be your assignment tomorrow. Well, anybody else? Seem to be having a ladies' day here today. Bernie, nothing from you? Arnie? Okay, see what you can come up with tomorrow. Jason, can I see you a minute? What's going on?
That new teacher, Miss Brown.
What about her?
She's one mean, hard-nosed lady. She's got it in for us, Mr. Dixon.
Us?
The fellas. And her class is a drag.
I don't know how or why, but she's demoralizing the boys.
Pete, that just doesn't sound like Diana. Are you sure it's her fault?
I haven't seen it for myself. But she teaches the class before mine, and the boys are coming in like a bunch of whipped puppies.
Look, Pete, you know, I suspect Diana's been through a pretty rough time. I understand that divorce of hers was pretty messy. Why don't we be a little patient with her? Give her time to make some adjustments.
I'm sorry, but the classroom is not a place for a teacher to work out her personal problems.
I agree. Well, let me tell you something. I have sat behind that desk and watched a lot of teachers come in and out of this place. Some are better than others, but you very rarely get a great one. Diana was a great teacher. I want to keep her here.
What if she isn't a great teacher anymore?
Pete, I'm asking for your cooperation. Let's give her a little time.
Okay.
What do you mean you forgot your hall pass? You never had one to begin with, Arnie. We both know it. You were trying to sneak out.
I don't feel good. I want to go home.
Oh, be Mark, yes, Mama's boy. But first of all, you march yourself down to the attendance office and get an excuse slip like everyone else has to.
Arnie? Do you think you were being a little rough on him?
There's This isn't a nursery school, Mr. Dixon. And Arnie does graduate in a year. It's about time he shaped up.
Okay. But all of our kids don't have the same levels of maturity, especially Arnie. So ease up, Miss Brown. And that goes for the rest of the boys you've been writing, too.
You're the head of the department, Mr. Dixon. But I didn't know that Whitman was giving out diplomas in spinelessness this year.
I think we should have a talk about your attitude.
And I think we should have a talk about yours, Mr. Dixon. I mean, it's really terrific the way you get down with your kids. The only trouble is when someone makes some real demands upon them, they don't know how to behave. I mean, your self-indulgent little schoolboys get all shook up when a mean lady teacher tries to make them behave like men. And you know why? Because Mr. Dixon doesn't talk to them that way. Because Mr. Dixon is their chum.
Are you finished?
What's price popularity?
Peter, dinner's getting cold.
Incredible.
Pete, you should have told me you didn't like Italian food.
Liz, do you realize what I'm stuck with? She decimates Arnie, she tears Jason down along with the rest of the boys, and I am supposed to help Mr. Kaufman keep her in school.
Pete, it isn't every night that I make gnocchi alla Genovese. In fact, it isn't every night I can pronounce it. Now, will you please eat? Good?
Mr. Kaufman?
Pete, I'm on to something.
Yeah, me too. How much time do you plan on giving Miss Brown?
Before what?
Before you or I deal with her behavior.
Good morning, Mr. Kaufman.
Good morning, Miss Brown. Pete, about what we were just saying. There's no time like the present. I will not believe that two good people cannot work out their problems. Folks, I have to run along. Have a good day.
Okay. I have it coming. Yell back at me.
I don't intend to yell. I do want to tell you something. I have a feeling that some doctor told you that by going back to work, it would be good therapy for you. Well, it might be good for you, but it is a disaster for everyone else you come in contact with.
I was prepared for yelling. I didn't know we were getting into karate.
You are destroying the morale of my boys. And in the case of Arnie Rothman, you might be doing some very serious damage. Now, maybe you got so burned by one man that you decided to take revenge on the rest. Okay, that's your problem. Except now the targets aren't men, they're boys. And they shouldn't have to deal with your hang-up. Knock it off, Miss Brown.
You don't have a thing about shoes, and I need your opinion.
Okay, but you're gonna buy what you want to anyway.
Well,
Oh, Mr. Dixon, could I talk to you for just a minute?
Sure.
I'll wait for you outside.
I was up half the night thinking about what you said. You were right. You know, you really blew my mind yesterday. It's been a long time since anyone has cared about what I was doing or had the courage to take a position. You know, we're raised on Snow White and Prince Charming, but no one ever tells you how much a man and a woman can hurt each other.
Sometimes reality can be a shock.
I didn't realize I was dumping my feelings on the boys.
Maybe you didn't. But I had to tell you about it before I went too far.
Thanks for yelling at me. That's all I really wanted to say.
See you tomorrow?
You bet.
Good morning.
Oh, hi. Hey, did you get a notice about the rise in the group insurance rates?
I hope not, but I didn't look yet.
I think they're trying to tell us something.
Oh, Pete, I got hold of a book last night with the most incredible political concepts. I got so excited about it, I tried to call you, but...
Well, I have a class on Wednesdays.
I'd like to talk to you about it. I mean, I want to use it right away. I'll walk you to your class. Arnie, my boy, I begin to see a glimmer of hope. This paper was done by a student that cares.
Well, who'd he get to do it for him?
We'll get to your problem in a minute, Bernie.
Hi.
Oh,
I called you last night.
you did?
Liz. What's wrong?
Nothing. I mean, I don't care if half the school thinks there's something going on between you and Diana Brown. I know better.
Well, if you know better, then why the freeze?
And if I'm uncomfortable because of the way it looks to other people, I guess that's just my problem, huh?
Well, it's your problem. It's mine, too.
Hi. What? One of these days you're going to qualify for the Magician's Logo. I don't know what you said to Diana Brown, but whatever it was perfect. Jason's walking around the hall smiling from wrist to wrist, and that boy, what's his name, Arnie Rothman, he's hardly scratching at all anymore. It's fantastic. I told you, it'd just be a matter of time before you two were good friends. Diana was always one of the most loving people you ever want to meet. Does anybody hear a very large silence?
Pass the pepper, please.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hey, has anyone seen Miss Brown today? She's absolutely radiant, all lit up from inside. You know what I think? I think Miss Brown's in love. She has all the signs. She's blooming.
Excuse me.
What's going on?
Liz, wait a minute.
What?
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, well, if it's so ridiculous, why don't you clear it up?
Because there's nothing to clear up.
Well, yes, there is, Pete. Or can't you see it? Or maybe you're so flattered by the whole thing, you just don't want to see it.
Oh, Pete, listen, friend, you're pretty good in the truth department. Would you shine a little light on me?
If I can.
Do you think I'm in love with you?
No. Why?
It's funny. I was beginning to think I was.
But you've only known me 5 days.
Yes, I know, but I haven't exactly been operating out of logic, have I? And I don't think now is the time for me to be in teaching.
Well, you may be right, but have you given it a lot of thought?
This is a test paper that I can't return to the student because I was doodling over it all day in class. Like a teenager. I think you should see it. I'm too good a teacher to be as bad as I've been this week.
Diane, you're very sure about this?
Very. But at the spot here next year, I'll come back if you want me.
We want you. How about now? Well, good luck, Miss Brown.
Thank you.
So you're going to do it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Come back.
When I'm ready.
You were right.
About what? Mrs. Pete Dixon. Diana Dixon. Mrs. Diana Brown Dixon. Boy, she was really getting carried away.
Liz.
I mean, of all the nerve. And in just 1 week.
Liz.
Oh, oops. I'm sorry. As a matter of fact, I'm sorry for most of the things that have happened today. But, on the other hand, by the looks of you two, looks like everything's okay. So, I'll just get out.
so, after 33 years of labor, Simon Rodil had completed the towers in Watts. He built them mainly of discarded materials, junk, and rubbish. In other photos we have, if you look closely, you can actually see bits of broken glass, bottle tops, and pieces of miscellaneous metal.
Bet you my mother could build 2 of those if she cleaned my room.
It's very good, Pam. Some of the best work to come out of the photography club.
That's the last you see, too. Every time the students get something good going, the school board shuts it down.
Let's be fair, Jason. When the bond issue failed, a lot of the extracurricular activities were cut. And the photography club just happened to be one of them.
Yeah, and the science club and after-school sports just happened to be number 2 and 3. All kid stuff.
Yeah, when it came to tightening belts, you didn't see none of the fat cats of the establishment doing it.
Jason, I admit there have been cutbacks up and down the line. But the school administration is doing the best that it can on a short budget.
Hey, Mr. Dixon, what if you went to Mr. Kaufman's office and got him to open up all the doors? Then we could really find out what's going on behind the scenes.
What do you think, Jack? I mean, there's no way Kaufman gonna do that.
All the kids want to do is ask a few questions about costs, supplies, procedures, and things like that. Well, what do you think?
Look, okay, but tell them to use a little judgment. Some of the teachers around here aren't going to be exactly thrilled about this.
They know. All right, Larry. Talk to Mr. Kaufman.
No chance, huh?
Would you like to hear what he said?
I'll tell you what he said. He said, tell those kids to keep their noses in their books and not in my business.
No, it's not what he said.
Oh, he's sure. He probably sugarcoated with a bunch of $5 words.
Larry, he said okay.
Yeah, he said, I'd like to. It's jiving me.
No, you can start tomorrow.
Some stuff.
Look, I don't mind them investigating my department. Who knows? I might even learn something.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi.
Oh, how'd Larry feel about the good news?
He was pleased, but not surprised. He knew you'd come through.
It's revolutionary, Mr. Kaufman. I mean, you're going to be known throughout the entire school system as Mr. Clean.
You know, I felt so positive about my decision a minute ago.
Alice, you could have talked John Hancock out of signing the Declaration of Independence.
All right, you guys, cool it down now. Now, Jason and Pam were in Mr. Kaufman's office, and Bernie and Jackson in woodshop, and I'll talk to Miss Beamer in the cafeteria. Now, who wants to zero in on old Dragon in the English department?
Hey, let me take a shot at him. I got a score to settle with him after that Shakespeare exam.
Wait a minute now. Let's not turn this thing into a revenge trip. If you want Dragon, you gotta act like you never met him before.
Well, okay.
Go get him, Frank. Okay, that does it. Dixon's Raiders are at full strength.
Dixon's what?
Dixon's Raiders. You dig like Nathan's Raiders. Our little leader thought that up.
All right. Larry's laid down all of the basic ground rules. Now, all I ask is that you try to be fair, observant, and courteous.
Plus your liquid paste, envelopes, tablets.
What's this, Mrs. Green?
Please don't touch things. I'll get it for you. This is carbon paper.
Do you use a lot of it?
Yes, an awful lot.
How much does it cost?
I'll have to check my price list. Let's see. Here it is. $3.15 a box.
Oh, Mrs. Wheeler, can I see you a minute, please?
Of course, Mr. Kaufman. Don't touch things, please.
What are they asking you out there?
You name it, they've asked it.
Do they want to see me?
They haven't mentioned it yet. Should I find out?
Well, I know. I tell you what, let them relax. Let's get some work done. I got some memos for you.
I hate to make a fuss, but I find this whole thing very upsetting.
Upsetting? If you ask me, we're all being subjected to Gestapo tactics. And I'm not sitting still for this. Are you, Gerard?
Oh, no. Absolutely not, Mr. Dragan.
There's little enough dignity left in the teaching profession.
Oh, how well I know.
Now, if we all go into this as a group, we can stop this childish investigation before it goes any further.
You're right. I mean, look at the name they've chosen. Dixon's Raiders. Obviously meant to agitate. Don't you agree, Miss Johnson?
No, I don't think so.
You don't? You don't think so?
No, I think the name's all in fun. Besides, from what I hear, the kids have made some pretty good suggestions.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting.
Go ahead, Jason. This is the first report on Room 222, Dixon's Raiders. Location, school supply office. Official in charge, Mrs. Emily Willer. Our study team found said, office run efficient and free from influence of any special interest group. However, certain ways of buying things can be improved. Item, typewriter ribbon. You've been using red and black ribbons, you dig? You don't hardly use the red part, so buy all black ribbons and get twice the use for the same bread.
Could you do without the red?
Well, I suppose so.
Item, carbon paper.
Now, I defy them to find a carbon paper cheaper than the one I use.
Oh, you're right. But in this case, we checked with business offices. They tell us it's better to use the expensive carbon paper. With that cheap stuff, you get 2 or 3 uses, right? With the expensive stuff, you can use it 16, 18 times.
I'll look into it.
Item, ICL copying machine. For most school needs, you can get it on with the next smaller model, saving about...
Well, that's it. Why don't we break for lunch and come back right after, okay?
Very good job.
I'm impressed.
So am I.
That kills that can. I'll get some more out of the storage room.
I just checked. We're out of it. No more mayonnaise either.
What do you mean? There was just 6 cans in there the other day.
Yeah, I know. The kids must be drinking it.
Or something.
Ken, I understand you didn't exactly open up your heart to our little investigating team.
Mr. Coppin, let's not mince words. I ordered them out of my office. The point is, I will not submit myself to Mr. Dixon's version of Ralph Naderism. It's an insult to every department head in the school.
Look, Mr. Dragan, I didn't start that study to alienate department heads. In fact, I didn't start the study at all. It was my students' idea. I think it happens to be a very good one.
Now, Ken, you've got to admit that the students have conducted themselves very professionally. What's more important, they've gotten some results.
In that case, you should be satisfied. Really, Mr. Kaufman, how much longer is this nonsense going to go on?
Look, the kids are involved. And it would be unfair to stop them now just when they're really getting enthused.
I agree.
I see. Then you'd have no objection to my taking this grievance to the school board, would you?
Oh, no. Although it's not really necessary. Most of the members of the school board already know about the saga of Dixon's Raiders. Do you know that 3 of the members of the school board have already called me to express their enthusiasm?
Well, since the lunatics have already taken over the asylum, who am I to oppose them?
Oh, Larry, got some good news for you.
I want to talk to you, Mr. Dixon. I got something to tell you.
Well, what is it?
I want to call an investigation off.
You're kidding.
No, I don't want to do it anymore.
Why, Larry?
Because it turned out to be a lousy idea, that's all.
Then, after checking with the lumber company, we found out that knotty pine costs half as much as the #1 grade fir he's been using in the wood shop, which is an annual savings of a mere $240.
Hey, that's incredible.
Yeah, but he's still fighting me, though, see? He says knotty pine doesn't look as good or isn't as versatile as fir. That's when I unveil the clincher that me and Jackson built.
A knotty pine guitar?
Naturally.
Glenn Campbell, eat your heart out. Dixon's Raiders rode to town, asking what's the story. Turned while whipping upside down. The rest is pretty gory.
Excuse me a minute. Larry? Where's the report on the cafeteria?
Oh, I haven't written it up yet, but no problem. It checked out okay.
Hey, let me ask you something. What's bothering you?
Nothing. Honestly, Mr. Dixon.
It's about Mrs. Beamer, isn't it?
Why do you say that?
Well, I can add 2 and 2. You're covering her department. You like her. Then suddenly you just drop the investigation. Did you find something wrong?
There are some shortages, Mr. Dixon.
Do you think she's responsible?
I just can't figure it out. It just doesn't look like something she would do.
Well, don't you think you owe it to yourself, to her, to find out the truth?
Yeah.
Honestly, Larry, you make me feel guilty.
Why's that?
You're always the first one to arrive and last one to leave.
Oh.
How's your project coming?
Okay.
Are you getting all the information you need?
Well, if you have a minute, I'd like to ask you a few questions about the food ordering procedure in the cafeteria.
Oh, I have to be a Tyler by 2. But you know where my books are, on top of my desk. Everything's in there.
Well, that's all right. I'll wait till tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow's Friday. You know how busy we are. Why didn't you do it today? Get it over with. Hope you can read my handwriting. Oh, lock up for me, will you, honey?
Sure. Bye.
Yes. Oh, my jury's arrived. Very well, come in. Oh, don't dawdle now. I'm very busy. Well, what is it today? More questions?
Oh, no, sir. Our investigation team's finished its report.
I guess you and Mr. Dixon had quite a good laugh at my deficiencies.
No, Mr. Dragan. We thought you should see the report first.
It's that bad, huh? Report on English Department Head Mr. Kenneth Dragan. We found this department to be excellent in every way. There are 2 L's in excellent. The selection of books, the presentation of subject materials, and teaching methods are all first rate. Thank you.
We did have one suggestion, Mr. Dragan.
Oh?
Yes, Bonnie and I thought it would be fun to have a Shakespeare day at Walt Whitman.
You thought it might be fun? Young man, it takes all of my efforts and then some to coax just a little English literature into your heads. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you for the report. You know, I've got work to do. Oh, you might as well leave that Shakespeare business as long as you've done it. That's something I've always stood for, letting the students find things out for themselves, as long as they do it with a sense of fair play. Oh, of course. You take that Shakespeare Day idea that we worked out together. There's a good example of what can develop. And Larry?
Can I talk to you?
Sure. Well, excuse me, Mr. Dragan. What's up?
I told you I'd come back with my report no matter what I found.
Well, how's it look?
Awful.
How awful?
Plenty. For one thing, the amounts of food she's been ordering just don't check out with the little bit we've been using.
Maybe there's some waste.
Not 90% waste. Anyway, the big kick is the payroll. She's been drawing extra money for jobs students have been doing, and all we get paid is free lunches.
Is there any chance you could be wrong?
No chance.
Well, there's only one thing we can do.
I'm not turning Miss Beamer in.
I'm not asking you to. You got the facts, and we're just going to have to confront her with them.
Hi, Larry. Mr. Dixon?
Oh, Mrs. Beamer. Can we talk to you for a second?
Sure. But if it's about today's meatloaf, I already know. Had too much garlic.
No, Mrs. Beamer, it's not about the meatloaf. Larry here has something he wants to say to you.
What is it, Larry?
Miss Beamer, I feel real bad.
Go ahead, honey. It's all right.
Well, it's about the investigation. I hope I'm wrong, but it looks like things just don't check out in the payroll ledger.
Oh. So you went through the payroll ledger, too?
Sorry.
It's all right, Larry. I suppose I always left it out because I wanted to get caught. This is Mrs. Beamer. Would you ask Mr. Kaufman to come down to my office right away, please?
Hello. What's going on?
Mr. Kaufman, I've been dishonest with you. With everyone.
What do you mean?
Well, Larry's done a very good job in his investigation. He's found a misallocation of funds in my books. It's too late to return the money. It's been spent. You'll find everything accounted for in here.
Tyler High School lunch fund? I don't understand.
When I came to this district, my job was clearly defined. Plan lunches for 2 schools, Walt Whitman and Tyler. Sounds like a simple enough job for a trained dietitian. Well, planning lunches for Tyler was not so simple. It's in the center of a poverty area. Lunch for those kids is sometimes the only nourishing, well-balanced meal they can count on each day. So I began playing favorites. If I found extra money in Whitman's budget, I spent it at Tyler. I gave them larger salads and hamburgers like this. And the 45-cent blue plate luncheon, well, you couldn't touch it in a restaurant for $1.50. So that's what happened.
It's irregular.
Mr. Kaufman, always the diplomat. Naturally, I'll resign. Just give me a couple of days to get things in order.
Well, it looks like our good intentions didn't turn out so well, huh?
I guess not. We all thought it was such a good idea.
Yeah, but you know what really concerns me? That we lost Miss Beamer.
Those kids are really going to feel bad when they find out.
Poor Larry looks miserable.
I'm sorry to disturb you, but some of the children insist on seeing you.
Mr. Kaufman, we have it all figured out.
One at a time.
We have a way of keeping the Tyler lunch program going.
The new Tyler Lunch Program Subcommittee, known as Beamer's Redeemers, have found a practical solution to the problem.
Item. Dixon's Raiders investigation have figured out a total savings of $950.
The end result being, instead of spending the money to bring back the photo club and after-school sports, why not give it to Miss Beamer for Tyler?
Well, that's a good start.
You kids are willing to take the money from your own activities for the Tyler Lunch Fund? That's very generous. I'm very proud of you. Look, we've got some other factors to discuss right now. Why don't you wait? We'll get back to you as soon as we can, all right?
Okay. We'll be around if you need it.
All right.
Yes, I'm sure of it.
What do you mean, other factors?
Well, moral factors. I mean, Mrs. Beamer was falsifying those books.
You mean like robbing Peter to feed Paul?
Whatever you want to call it, the fact remains she was disregarding school regulations. Now, the way I look at it, I've got 2 choices. Either I go to the school board, or I don't go to the school board.
Mr. Kaufman, which choice are you going to choose?
Item. What do you think?
With the savings the kids turned up, there should be enough left to finance your lunch program.
Tonight I can keep everything out in the open. No more secret ledgers, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman.
It's my pleasure. Oh, there's just one thing.
Yes?
You know, the meatloaf today. Didn't it seem to you it was a little short on garlic? I mean, remember, Mrs. Beamer, it's vampires that are afraid of garlic, not high school principals. Think garlic.
Oh, Miss Kaufman. I just want to say that Dixon's Raiders appreciate, the way you handle things. Not going straight down the road with the rule book.
Well, I stayed within the regulations. I felt that certain things were within my jurisdiction to decide, so I decided, but I didn't actually break the rules.
Well, we like the way you bend them, because that old rule book ain't never going to be quite the same.
about you?
I don't know, man. What?
You got no right. United States of America flag is sacred.
Come on, man. It's a free country.
Oh, freedom, yes. Not to insult, no.
Bug off, mister.
Now, you listen to me.
Gentlemen, please. You'll be late for class.
Yeah. Hippie! Hippie! You teacher and you permit disgrace for American USA flag? Not possible.
Kulovich, tell us what happened. Yes. Mr. Kulovich, why don't you tell the class what happened?
I already told you. Hotshot hippie drive to school on motorcycle. He get down and I see he got for pants in back. Cut out with scissors. American USA flag. No. When not displayed, American USA flag must be folded, stored, or burned. It's law.
Yeah. That's right, Mr. Kulovich. And since you know that, why didn't you just tell him? I mean, isn't it possible that he just didn't know?
It's also possible to yell too much. I apologize. But American flag is something very important to me. Es verdad to all of us. To all of us.
And to me, too. So let's go to work on what that flag means and what the Constitution means. I'm going to read the First Amendment.
Oh, please, young gentleman, permit. A Congress shall make no law respecting any establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble to petition the government for redress of grievances. Yeah, I can also say the others, amendments and Constitution.
I believe you, and I'm very impressed. But now, let's discuss what that really means. For example, the right to wear a pair of pants patterned after the flag.
No, I disagree.
But Mr. Kulovich, after reciting all of those freedoms under the First Amendment, well, shouldn't we include freedom of dress?
Ever since Pam won that All-City Art Award, she's really been in orbit.
She sure has. It had kind of a weird effect on her, you know?
Yes, I've noticed.
She's so detached. I mean, you talk to her, but she doesn't really hear you. It's as if she's listening to music only she can hear and painting paintings only she can see.
Boy, talk about being in orbit. You sound like you're ready to join her.
Oh, can I help it if I identify with artistic inspiration?
Oh, boy.
No, seriously. I've been thinking about open house, and artistic inspiration might be just what we need.
You gotta be kidding.
All right. Why isn't the period around the American Revolution suitable for open house? I mean, it was the beginning of American literature. Thomas Paine, Benjamin Franklin, Jefferson.
Well, look, we're having a revolution now. And, man, it's hard sitting in here dealing with some stuff in a history book when we should be involved in what's happening in America today.
Right. And if we don't watch out, the whole country's going down the drain.
I think you've come up with a class project, Pam.
What?
Well, there's a revolution going on in America now. What does it mean to you? And how do you feel about your country? How can you express those feelings? Well, why not do exactly what Franklin and Jefferson did? Say exactly what you think.
What are you two doing, trying to smuggle an elephant in here?
No, see, Mr. Kaufman, it's our project for open house.
And you don't have to worry, man. It's cool.
Yeah.
Well, as long as it's cool. It's cool.
It is?
Now, the question is, what does cool mean to him?
Oh, wow. Well?
It's great. You really like it? Really?
Yeah, really good. Yeah.
Scholars. Hello, Bernie. Hello, excuse me.
Hi there.
Hi.
Well?
It's very, creative.
This is a piece of art, and it's good, and it expresses a strong point of view.
I noticed that. Well, it'll be the hit of the open house. Conservatively speaking, I would say that 50% of the parents will be mildly upset by it. The other 50% will be strongly upset.
Well, that means it's successful. A piece of art is supposed to make people feel something.
Oh, and it's a smash. Makes me feel something already. Nervous.
Of course I've seen Pam's project. I had to find out what turned her on to school again. She's really come back to life. She even asked Chernick for a makeup test in math.
Of course, all she needed was some method of connecting her schoolwork to her artwork.
Yeah, now all I need is...
Miss Johnson, there's trouble in the classroom.
Excuse us. Excuse me.
Couldn't get away with that.
Take a look, Miss Johnson. That's beautiful, man. I mean, well, we should have expected that, right? Now, who will be sick enough to do something like that?
Hey, this is the kind of world we live in. This is what happens to an artist today. Now, I know you and Miss McIntyre have been talking about me. Pam just isn't doing her work. Well, Miss Johnson, this is my work. This is what I care about. Not English and history and math and all that. They don't mean anything to me. This is what I feel. You conned me, Miss Johnson. You know, I got kind of hooked into this, and it was really important to me. Doing something that came out of what I felt. And now it's just wrecked.
Yeah, and we're gonna find out who did it and rip them off.
Let's send a delegation to Kaufman's office.
Look, I don't think he did it. Now, let's not go racing off in all directions. Why don't we try to figure out how this could have happened?
Well, it couldn't have been vandals. I mean, nothing else in the school was wrecked.
How do you know? Because everybody would have been talking about it.
Right, so it happened to just lucky old us.
Hey, what about the night janitor?
Oh, man, I know that cat. He's cool.
Look, are you also sure that it was an outsider, not a student?
Oh, it couldn't have been a kid. He would have known it was somebody's project, somebody working on it.
Right. It sounds like the kind of thing an adult would do if he were really angry about something.
Hey, maybe it was a teacher.
No. But who else could have got in here, man? I mean, the school is locked up at night.
No, it isn't. Not all the time. They have those night classes.
Oh, yeah, adult education. They got a lot of them, you know.
A night student. What about a night student, Miss Johnson?
Of course was me.
But Mr. Kulovich, why?
I make report. It's terrible. It's terrible. To make garbage of USA flag must not be permitted.
And what about destroying somebody else's property? Mr. Kulovich, that was a piece of art. Somebody worked on it and cared about it. And you had no right to destroy it.
Right, of course I got right. I got duty to do that. Me, Janos Kulovich, I'm going to be citizen here. Land of free and home of Bill of Rights. I fight for that. I not let USA flag be disgraced, no. It's act of patriot. What I do is right.
Well, let's get right to the point. Miss Johnson has found the man who wrecked Pam's project. We both talked to him.
Who is he?
Why'd he do it?
Yeah, let's get him here and make him explain.
I've asked Miss Johnson not to reveal his identity, just yet.
Why not?
Because it was a night student who's studying for a citizenship examination.
Sure, some uptight, righteous adult.
No, Bernie, that's not true. He's a person that takes his country very seriously. He really cares about the American flag. Pam, you see, he didn't understand what you were trying to say with your project. All he saw was disrespect.
What about what we saw, Mr. Kaufman? Pam has a right to say what she feels.
Yeah, that weirdo had no right to do what he did. Jason's right. Let's make a citizen's arrest or some home into court.
Right. Sue the man. But this could ruin his chances for becoming a United States citizen.
That suits me fine.
Okay. Then your next step is to hire an attorney. Now, who's going to pay? Jason? Bernie? And it's going to take time. You'll have to help prepare a case.
Okay, man, we got the cards stacked against us. But Pam got cut up. There's got to be a way to make this dude pay.
Well, Jason, I just had another thought. You can file a complaint against him with the Department of Immigration and Naturalization. Wouldn't cost you a penny, and you'd probably prevent the man from becoming a citizen.
Hey, that's heavy.
That's right, Bernie, it is. I understand he's studied and worked for years for this. Now he's right on the verge of becoming an American. You can take that away from him. If you want to.
Think about it, okay? I don't want to create trouble for Kulovich, but the class is right. Pam's work was wrecked. It's important to her. If we just let this go by, she's going to crawl right back inside herself and tune the world out.
Agreed.
But she has to understand why he tore up the project. And he ought to understand what made her make it in the first place.
Also agreed. Arbitration.
What?
Well, lawsuits aren't the only way to settle differences. There's negotiation, discussion, two parties with an impartial chairman.
Kulovich versus the class?
Exactly.
This is Mr. Janos Kulovich. Mr. Kulovich, my class. And this is Pam.
Yeah, this is Pam. And that's what you did to her, man.
I'd like to know why.
Is difficulty for you. For that, I'm sorry. But I'm not sorry for what I did to that thing.
That thing is Pam's work. It's her personal comment.
Oh, with USA flag going down drain. Okay. Then I tear up. That's my comment.
But, man, that isn't fair. I mean, she didn't tear anything up of yours.
Wrong. She tear up something very important to me. Flag of my new country. USA Constitution says all men are equal. All men got rights. But laws say all men got responsibility. To me, that's not responsible. That's insult.
Hey, I don't know where you come from, but I have lived in this country all my life, and I have lived in it black. Now, I know you don't know what that means, but...
I understand. It's discrimination. It's against USA Constitution. But you're here in first-class school. You go wherever you want. You do what you want. World is not perfect place, little lady. I'm sorry. But believe me, America is closest to perfect there is the best.
Believe you? Why? Why should I believe you? You are white. Now, that means, man, you just don't know. We have been shoved around here for over 300 years. Now you come sailing in here telling me it's a tough world. So just get back in the bus and shut up. No chance. No chance. Now you look at the flag and you see promises, right? I look at that same flag and I see promises I want kept. Now I have a right to say I am not satisfied. I made that out of my own life, out of my own gut. And you just came in here and tore it up for no reason. That's where that is.
I'm in America for 5 years. Before that, I was in country where I was born, where my father was born, where his father, where we lived for a long, long time. It's small country, not very big, not very large, like USA, not strong, but is home to me. I got their life. I got wife, I got children, I got friends, I got the flag. What means flag? A flag is my father, his father, my wife, my friends, is all that. Now, you got prejudice here. That's bad. And so you mad on USA flag. I cry for my flag because it's not just insult. It's much worse than that. It's when you see them tanks ride over that flag, trample it in 1 second, not flag, just piece of rag is dirt under your feet. Now, your family, not always given freedoms, and that is bad. Okay, I'm a man who love his wife, and they shoot her. They shoot her. 1 second, she's dead. My children are running, I'm running, they're shooting, and my children are dead. So I stopped running. I got no reason to run anymore. I got no reason to run, to do anything anymore. So I just wait there. I'm just dead man. Only they don't shoot me. I don't know why, but they don't. I stand there, I wait, and then I escape. My life is prison in that country. I got no home there. I escape to other country. I go here, I go there. Then I come to America. And in America, I start to come a little bit alive. I find here something I've lost. See, not wife, not children, not friends, but here is USA Constitution. Here is freedom. Here is USA flag. Here's what I got in my life.
Good morning, Miss Hogarth. Can I have a late pass, please?
You're Ken Hayashi, right? Second time this week.
Fourth time. Can I have a late pass?
Well, I'm looking for it. Wait, here they are. There you are.
Thanks. This is a hall pass. Oh. Can I just have a note?
Oh, but yes, if I could find my pencil, I'll write you a note.
And the populist movement became important in the late 19th century with small farmers and businessmen taking on what they saw as a rip-off by the big companies. Well, the same thing is happening today in the consumer market, with Nader, Bansoff, and others taking on the so-called establishment.
Mr. Dixon, it's an extremely difficult task, historically speaking, to buck City Hall.
And you don't think that's changing?
They want you to think it's changing.
If you hang in there, you can get some response. Because today, consumer has a better chance than he's ever had before.
No way, Mr. Dixon. You shove at the establishment, it just lets you shove. It wears you down, then it wipes you out.
Be more specific. Have you been wiped out?
I got a new motorcycle. Since I got it, I've never walked so much in my life.
You gotta see him to believe it, Mr. Dixon. Crazy leg Hayashi.
What's the hang-up with your bike?
It conks out all the time.
What about your guarantee?
The day after it expired, they told me it was a major overhaul. $170.
Why don't we all go out and take a look at that bike, Mr. Dixon, since it's what we're talking about?
You wouldn't be trying to hustle me to cut class short, would you?
For 10 minutes. 15, maybe, but not 10.
Hey!
Get him, kid.
Hey, let me try, man.
The dealer wouldn't help you out at all, huh?
Mr. Nagel? Oh, he was very friendly. He offered to let me trade in on a more expensive model.
Why don't you contact the manufacturer or write a letter to the president of the company?
I did. In Japanese. My father translated it for me. Tagato Motors in Tokyo. And I sent a copy to the American distributor. I touched all the bases, Mr. Dixon, and came up empty.
Well, any ideas, group?
A class project.
What you think, Mr. Dixon?
I think a class project might be very interesting.
Well, who are you going to hit first?
The Chamber of Commerce, the Business Guidance Bureau.
The mayor?
City councilmen and our state legislators.
We're gonna knock them off one by one.
Bernie, point that thing the other way. You're dangerous enough without it.
What they're doing, Mr. Kaufman, is getting copies of Ken's bill of sale and his guarantee so they can do something about that Mr. Nagel who won't fix the motorcycle when he obviously should.
Is that right?
The last copy. All I did was put paper in.
I thought we got a new copier.
This is the new one.
Do we have a guarantee?
It just expired.
You should get the invoice and the guarantee and any other pertinent papers and make copies and...
Miss Johnson, what do you suggest we make copies on? Call me if it speaks again.
Here's a copy of Ken's bill of sale and guarantee, Mr. Dixon.
Well, thank you. You guys started the campaign already?
Right now, man, we're gonna do a number on a lot of heads.
See you later.
Pete, I'm glad you're doing this.
Well, actually, they're doing all the legwork. I'm just sort of advising.
Well, the thing with the motorcycle is Ken needs it for work this summer.
Where's he working?
At an electronics plant, 40 miles away. But it's a very good job, and he needs the money for college next year. Without it, he doesn't go.
What about a scholarship?
I've got a partial scholarship lined up for him, but that's the best I could get.
Where'd he get the job?
Oh, I looked up an old graduate.
You've been busy, haven't you?
Mm-hmm. Thanks for walking me home. You want some coffee?
Why not?
Okay.
Isometrics. 45 seconds a day. Change your life in 4 days.
Does that mean I have to get a new tennis partner?
No, I tried it long enough. It's not for me.
How long you been doing it?
45 seconds. Listen, the reason I called you in, I wanted to ask you about Ken Hayashi and your consumer project.
Kids are really digging in.
So I gathered. I just got a call from John Kirk, our state assemblyman.
Why, was he complaining?
Oh, no. He was lauding the democratic process, and incidentally himself.
You know, I have never liked that guy. I could be wrong. He is on a panel the kids got together along with some people from the Business Guidance Bureau and the city's consumer's office.
Oh, that sounds good. Look, if they're doing it good with the motorcycle, see what they can do about our copy machine.
But, Mrs. Crane, the question is, can the city consumer's advocate get Mr. Nagel to honor his guarantee as he should have?
Yeah, I'll give Ken his bread back. He ain't rolling, man.
What?
He ain't rolling.
Oh, yes, I see what you mean. Well, as I've said, our very small staff is very concerned in this area, especially in effectuating compliance. But I believe that Mr. Caruso would have some input here.
Oh, yes, I do. The Business Guidance Bureau has sent a strong letter of inquiry to Mr. Nagel and a copy to the manufacturer suggesting that if the facts are as you state, Mr. Nagel might very well reconsider his position.
Or he might not.
Oh, well, there's always that possibility. But you must remember, he has to operate in a business-like manner, or he won't be in business long. Now, I believe you said he did offer to repair the motorcycle at cost.
$170. It might as well be $1,700. It's a ripoff.
Well, from your point of view. But we haven't heard from his point of view yet.
And when are we going to get that?
I've written to Mr. Nagel inviting him to attend an informal inquiry meeting.
And if he don't come?
Well, I could always write again.
Mr. Kirk, very seriously, what can you do about the situation?
First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for inviting me here today. I can offer you, all of you, an opportunity to contact your Retail Affairs Committee, of which I happen to be vice chairman.
And they'll straighten Mr. Nagel out?
More than that. We're aiming for legislation to guarantee that dealers' guarantees will guarantee.
Oh, what do we do?
You write, and you ask to be put on the agenda for the committee's next public hearing.
When is that?
In September. And that testimony will be carefully considered in the committee study session.
When is that?
In November. And that session should produce a bill, which will go to the Rules Committee for floor action in January.
What's January?
Next January. Now, of course, there's always the possibility of a delay there, but with a little push, and I'd be happy to do some pushing, we can get that bill on the floor by March, say, or April at the latest. Then after the floor debate, it'll come up for a vote.
Mr. Kirk, I need wheels now, not in 2 years.
Eventually, things do get done, but in the meantime, we must make haste slowly. We just have to learn to be patient.
Seems like I heard that before. Somewhere.
Hi, Pete.
Hi, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Where's your lunch?
I'm not eating lunch. I noticed a few badly placed bulges in the mirror this morning.
Oh.
Well, you know, I saw Ken Hayashi earlier. He's pretty discouraged.
I don't blame him. Nagel never answered anybody's letters yet.
I really thought something more would come out of that meeting.
I did too.
I think what you're going to do is marvelous.
You do?
Sure, I hate to see anybody getting away with what that Nagel's getting away with.
Well, I had an idea this morning, and I mentioned it to Alice. I thought since Ken's father doesn't speak much English, you should go down and talk to that Nagel character yourself.
And when, might I ask, did you intend to suggest that I do that? After we drove up to the place?
We?
Hey, going together, that's even better. You can give them both barrels.
Oh, hi there. I'm Bud Nagel. Glad to meet you folks.
Pete Dixon.
Mr. Dixon, a pleasure. Mrs. Dixon? And speaking of pleasure, why don't you just take a little look at some of the greatest open sesames to fun known to mankind. Well, what can I show you? How about this one right here? It's a dandy little machine.
Do you have a guarantee on all your motorcycles?
Pete, you don't mind if I call you Pete? Nagel Motors has what we call our beryllium alloy pledge, twice the strength of steel. Short of an accident or driver-caused damage, you are fully covered for a full 30 days. Muffler, battery, hand grips, mirror, wheels, and spokes. Well, you just name it, you're covered.
Engine.
Engine?
We're from Walt Whitman High, Mr. Nagel. We're Ken Hayashi's teachers.
Pete, that's kind of sneaky, but that's okay. You're worried about the boy. Now, I like that.
Well, Ken bought a bike from you. It doesn't work, and I don't like that.
Well, now, I don't know what you folks have been told, but come on over here. Let's look at the facts. It's Hayashi, right? Oh, here it is, yeah. Oh, Hayashi, that kid bought a 350cc Tagato. Oh, yes, I remember. And I do remember him well because he picked it out himself, he looked it over, he test drove it. He was very happy.
He was happy because he didn't know what was wrong with it.
I don't either, ma'am. He came back here with a fouled-up engine and a sad story.
Mr. Nagel, Ken Hayashi is a very hard-working kid and completely honest.
And you trust him. Now, that's fine, Pete. I like that. And I wish that I could say the same thing. But after all, I'm in business. I've got responsibilities. I've got a payroll to meet, taxes to pay, that incidentally do support your school. So you see, I have got to operate in a business-like manner.
Mr. Nagel, it might be good business for you to honor the guarantee all the way.
Okay, I'll tell you what I do. I'll make you a deal. Now, I really shouldn't, but, well, you're nice folks. We'll repair his engine at cost.
Mr. Nagel, I think you already offered Ken that deal.
I did? Well, then, now, that just goes to show you I'm consistent. Now, I can't be any fairer than that, can I, Pete? Look, you say hello to Ken for me and tell him what I said, and as long as you're here, why don't you look around? You might see something you like. Excuse me. Hi there. I'm Bud Nagel.
In about 2 seconds, you're going to see a man run over by his own motorcycle.
Modern art, right?
Oh, a lot of rip-offs, Miss Johnson.
I don't get it.
What is this?
A nail.
Wrong. It's the world's smallest portable coat hanger.
See, we've been doing research on mail order ads and come on junk letters.
The public just gobbles them up.
Cygnus insect trap. No battery. No moving part. Hold still.
An easily stored lung exerciser.
Boy, there ought to be laws protecting people against this sort of jip. Does Mr. Dixon know about these things?
It was his idea for us to look into it.
Oh, listen. What happened yesterday when he and Miss McIntyre went down to the motorcycle place? Really?
The best thing Ken can do with that junky bike is burn it, as in a protest.
You know, I saw a news program the other night, and someone who bought a bummer of a car painted it like a lemon and drove it past the place where he bought it to embarrass the dealer into doing something about it. And...
Oh, thank you, Miss Johnson.
Wait, maybe you better ask somebody for permission. To know a few simple words of mine spoken without even thinking started the whole ball rolling. You know, I wasn't even going to look at the news that night.
Just think of all the nights you never watched the news and all that hasn't happened as a result.
From now on, I'm going to watch it every night.
Mr. Blord, do you have a son or a daughter in school? The name doesn't quite connect.
I'm Bud Nagel's attorney.
I see. What can I do for you?
It's nothing serious, Mr. Kaufman. I'm not looking for any trouble. I'm a pacifist.
That's nice. Let's settle whatever it is on that basis. Have a seat?
Thank you. It's just that a few of your kids have been picketing Nagel Motors, and we'd like you to pull them off.
You'd like me to what?
Or else we'll have to get a restraining order. Maybe file an action against each of the kids, their parents, you, and the school board, of course.
It's a lot of filing. Assuming, of course, that it is illegal to stage a peaceful protest, which I wouldn't bet on, how do you figure to involve the school?
Ah, but they were taught populism and consumerism by a Mr. Dixon. He's a teacher of yours.
I know him well.
I wouldn't be surprised if those signs and the decorations on the bike weren't done on school premises.
Do I have the right to make one phone call to my attorney?
Mr. Nagel has a right to run his business without harassment. So I'm just asking you to have a word with your kids.
Mm-hmm. You forgot to say or else.
I never waste an or else.
Mr. Blord, why don't we both just say goodbye?
It's been a pleasure.
Well, Mr. Nagel threatened legal action. I say fight fire with fire.
Do you think we have a chance?
Well, I think the bike is too important to Ken, and the principle too important to all of us not to try.
Oh, Mr. Dixon, there you are. I've been looking for you. Mr. Kaufman wants you in the office right away.
Pete, this is Mr. Shigematsu, Mr. Dixon, one of Ken's teachers.
How do you do? Mr. Dixon? I'm Executive Vice President of Togata Motors of America. I understand this Ken Hayashi has had some difficulties with one of our motorcycles.
Yes, he has, but he wrote you about it.
He did. And I received, let's see, a letter from Mrs. Crane, Consumer Advocate's office. Another, a gentleman from Business Guidance Bureau.
What do you know? It looks like they put a little pressure on after all.
They did me a favor. If we have a dealer who's out of line, I want to know about it.
Are you going to talk to Mr. Nagel?
Right now. Would you like to come along?
Well, I have a free period, and I can't think of anything better I'd like to do with it.
Look, Mr. Hayashi, I don't know what your son has told you, but I've had it.
I'm afraid I don't understand, Mr. Nagel.
Bud Nagel, like a nice guy. But frankly, I am losing my patience in this matter.
But, Mr. Nagel, I've looked over the cycle that Ken bought here, and I think its engine may have been defective.
Well, sure, because he ran it into a tree or something.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Look, Hayashi, this is my business. I mean, I'm an expert, and I don't think you're in any position to make a judgment like that.
But assuming the possibility of a defect, certainly your guarantee should cover it.
Our guarantee speaks for itself, sir.
Yes, I've read it. And if you don't mind my saying so, it consists mostly of loopholes.
I darn well do mind your saying so. Look, Hayashi, I'll make it simple. Your boy is a troublemaker, and so are you. Now, are you going to leave here quietly? Or do I invoke my legal rights and bounce you out of here?
No, I wouldn't dream of making trouble.
Good.
But tell me, Mr. Nagel, why do you keep calling me Hayashi?
That's your name, isn't it?
Not quite. As a matter of fact, not even close.
Hey, it's good to meet you, Dave.
Just call me Mr. Shigematsu.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning. How are you this morning?
Now that's a beautiful bike.
I have something that might interest you.
Dear Mr. Hayashi, just a note to let you know I haven't forgotten your problem with your motorcycle. I've written to Mr. Nagel and expect to hear from him shortly. When I do, you'll be the first to know. Sincerely, John Kirk, State Assemblyman.
If that doesn't inspire confidence in the democratic process, I don't know what will.
That's a great bumper sticker you got there, Mr. Dixon. You'll be the talk of your whole neighborhood.
I hope not, Herbie. Tell me something, though. How'd you happen to get into the bumper sticker business?
Well, I was looking for something that was cheap to make, easy to merchandise, and had a ready market.
Well, you found it.
Yeah, but I don't want to limit myself. I mean, I've got some big plans for expansion. Mr. Dragan. Thank you, Mr. Dixon. Mr. Dragan.
Hey, Mr. Dixon?
Oh, hi, fellas.
Hey, that Herbie's some hustling dude, ain't he?
Sure is.
I wish I could work like that without having to work so hard.
You're gonna get plenty of time to relax this summer, brother.
How come?
Everything's gonna stop, Mr. Dixon, for 3 months, the whole economy.
How do you figure that?
Well, everybody we talked to when we went to look for work.
Well, let me talk to Miss McIntyre. She can always come up with a job.
Won't do no good, Mr. Dixon. Miss McIntyre's already trying to hustle jobs for us, like Herbie's trying to hustle for himself. But she ain't selling as much.
Hey, what did Herbie hit you for this time?
Oh, I'll show you who it is.
Miss Johnson, Miss McIntyre.
Uh-oh, Herbie Considine.
What's he selling now?
Bumper stickers for openers. Keep moving.
Miss Johnson, Miss McIntyre.
Where you going?
My classroom.
Good, I'm going to the library. Let's split.
Hey, that's good. Then you can only get one of us.
Right.
Yeah, and guess who it's gonna be?
Miss Johnson. Miss Johnson.
Herbie, I don't understand something.
I can explain anything, Miss Johnson.
Well, if you started your own company that prints these and sells them to stores like Kahn Brothers and Foster's and...
Tracy Drugs?
Yes.
Why do I spend my own time selling them individually?
Right.
What else can I do between classes? Besides, the great thing about bumper stickers is that it's a self-generating business.
Self-generating?
Everyone you sell is advertising. So the more you sell, the more you advertise.
And the more you advertise, the more you sell, right?
Hey, you've got a great head for business, Miss Johnson.
Well, thanks. But there's just one little problem about me buying one of your bumper stickers.
Oh, what's that, Miss Johnson?
I don't have a car.
You don't have a car?
No.
Miss Johnson, I can get you the greatest deal on a brand new four-door front-wheel drive. Wait till you see it, Miss Johnson. You're gonna love it.
Herbie, I'll buy one of the bumper stickers now, and when I can afford it, I'll get the car.
Well, I think I've persuaded Masterson and Sons to set up a training program for 20 of our students.
Will they pay them while they're learning?
Mm-hmm. Not a lot, but they're going to pay them.
That's great.
You know, Liz, you deserve a lot of credit for making that happen, especially at a time like this. It was very ingenious.
Well, it hasn't really happened yet. But they are sending somebody over next week to interview our students.
Who knows? Once you get the program started, it might encourage other companies to do the same thing.
I certainly hope so. 20 jobs doesn't even begin to solve the problem.
Too bad we don't have a school full of Herbie Considines.
You don't really mean that.
No, I don't. Forget I said it.
Chris, here's $1. Go to the cafeteria and get me ham and cheese on rye, huh? Sure.
Herbie?
Yeah, what is it?
Rick, maybe you're in this, man.
What's it about?
I don't know. It's a book on records and championships. You know, the fastest, slowest, biggest. Maybe there's some in here about most bumper stickers sold in an hour.
Oh, yeah, well, if it's in there, it's out of date. I just broke my own record. We're all sold out for today. But let me take a look at it anyway.
Hey, Jason, what happened with those jobs yesterday?
Nothing, man, nothing.
Yeah, I blew a job as a shoe salesman this morning.
Why?
Not enough experience and too much hair.
Now, that's discrimination. If you were a girl, they wouldn't have said anything.
I got an interview at a moving company. 12 other guys. They're gonna let 2 of us know.
Hey, a guy can swallow 5 swords at once. I wonder who he buys his swords from.
Hey, Herbie, you're a businessman. Why don't you help us out?
How? I'll do anything.
Why don't you let kids sell your bumper stickers around school?
Too much overhead for the potential market. It would eat up my profits.
Why don't you have some of the kids run your printing press and deliver your stickers?
I just don't have any openings right now. I'm fully staffed.
Oh, that's what all you employers say.
Look, I use adults. They're more reliable, and besides, they don't work until they have just enough money for some stereotapes, then quit.
This anything you're willing to do to help. What does it include?
It includes the answer to your problem.
Here's your lunch, Herbie. I'm sorry it took so long, but there was a line.
Oh, that's okay, kid. Just give me the change, and you eat the lunch.
Thanks.
Oh, Miss McIntyre. Miss McIntyre.
Herbie, I'm not in the mood to listen to any sales pitch.
Ah, but suppose it means jobs for Whitman students.
Oh, you always know what button to press.
Dick, a sudden disaster strikes, leaving a family destitute. Then they go on the TV news. People send money, make offers of help.
So?
Family right across the street, same disaster. But they don't go on the TV news. They starve. Why?
Publicity.
Right. A situation is presented dramatically. Sympathy is aroused. Action is stimulated.
Okay.
So what we have to do is publicize Whitman High's problem. A need for jobs for students.
Oh, Herbie, now does this involve some kind of disaster at the school?
No, we just have to set up a situation by where when an employer thinks job, he thinks Whitman. We have to demonstrate Whitman initiative, Whitman desire, Whitman ingenuity.
Mr. Kaufman will sure like that.
Right. And with those qualities, a Whitman student will be an asset to any business.
Herbie, wait, no. I think everything you're saying is fine. I only have one question. How?
Miss McIntyre, I'm going to say one word to you. Just one word.
I'm ready.
Bananas.
Bananas?
Would you mind explaining to me how bananas are going to get jobs for kids?
Well, Herbie got the idea from this book. A three-man team eating the most bananas in an hour.
Well, what's his idea?
For us to get a three-man team and see how many bananas they can eat. See, we'll get attention from the news media, and we'll focus the spotlight on Whitman students. Kids who'll do more to get a job and more for their employer after they get it.
Yeah, that's great thinking. Someday we might all be glad we bought bumper stickers from Herbie.
He's contacting the Banana Bureau of America to see if they'll cooperate with us.
Did you agree to all this?
Not yet.
You know, it sounds like another one of Herbie's stunts to me.
Yeah, that's what I said. But Herbie said not if the Whitman team breaks the world's record.
The world's record for a three-man team eating the most bananas in an hour. Golly.
Come in.
I'm looking for Mr. Considine.
Mr. Herbie Considine?
Yes. I'm John Bean, the Banana Bureau of America.
I'm Liz McIntyre.
Oh, yes, Mr. Considine mentioned your name.
That was very good of him. I didn't know you were coming today.
Well, Mr. Considine sounded pretty urgent, and actually we're rather excited about this project.
You are?
Oh, it'll be great publicity for us. And as I told Mr. Considine, the Banana Bureau will provide all the bananas necessary.
All the bananas?
Not only that, we'll also provide the 3 students who are on the team with jobs for the summer.
You will?
Provided they break the record, of course. We'll use them for promotional purposes. We'll bill them as the Big Banana Eaters. I coined that phrase myself.
That's very catchy.
Thank you.
I'm sorry I'm late. I guess you two have met. Mr. Bean, I'm Mr. Considine.
Oh, Herbie.
Herbie, since I didn't know there was a meeting, I started without you.
Oh, Miss McIntyre, I'm sorry. I really meant to leave a note in your box. I really should get a secretary. Well, have you two discussed the arrangements yet?
Mm-hmm. All the bananas we can eat plus jobs for the team.
Oh, good. Well, what do you say, Miss McIntyre?
Come in.
Liz, oh, I see you're busy.
No, Mr. Bean of the Banana Bureau, this is Alice Johnson.
Oh, hi.
Hello there.
Does this mean you're going to do it?
Well, I don't know, but before we take another step, I am going to take the bull by the horns. Excuse me.
What does that mean?
She's going to go see Mr. Kaufman.
Ingenuity, yes, but leavened with a little common sense.
Well, we tried that, and it hasn't worked so far.
What makes you think lunacy is the answer?
I prefer to think of it as flexibility, Mr. Kaufman, the mark of any good administrator.
Oh, Liz, how many jobs do you really think this banana stunt is going to guarantee?
3, if they break the record. Plus, all that publicity could lead to lots of other jobs.
If they break the record. For a 3-man team eating the most bananas in an hour. All of this comes to us from the fertile mind of Herbie Considine.
Yes.
Liz, I'm sorry, but I just think it would do more harm than good. I'm afraid the answer is no.
Masterson and Sons has regretfully announced they will be unable to institute a program for paid trainees this summer as they had planned. Therefore, the job interviews scheduled for next Tuesday are canceled. Sincerely.
There's more good news. The government announced today that the elimination of 20 possible jobs is evidence of the continuing improvement of the economic picture.
I knew this was going to happen.
Have they really shut the thing down?
Yeah.
How can they cancel a whole program that they've already agreed to?
Simple as picking up the phone and saying they changed their minds.
Mr. Kaufman, why don't we take a shot with the bananas?
Yeah, what do we got to lose?
How about a little dignity?
We don't think we'll lose any dignity.
All we want are jobs. People are going to understand.
You hope.
It's It's a good idea, Mr. Kaufman.
We don't need 4 jobs. We don't need 20 jobs. We need a lot of jobs.
And this is the only idea that might get them.
What you got against bananas, Mr. Kaufman?
As a fruit, nothing.
Well, I don't see what harm it can do. And the publicity would be a big help. Mr. Kaufman, the principle behind the whole thing is very sound.
For one thing, they'll all get sick.
Only of bananas. Mr. Kaufman, do you have a better idea?
You got me there. Okay, Miss Johnson, you have my permission.
Miss Johnson?
Oh, Miss McIntyre, excuse me. It's just that kind of an idea.
All right, quiet, please. We didn't expect so many of you to volunteer for the Whitman Banana Team.
It's the first team I ever tried out for. I got a chance of making.
With your mouth, it ought to be a cinch.
All right. For those of you who don't already know, we're going to pick 3 students who will try to break the world's record for the most bananas eaten by a 3-man team in 1 hour.
What is the world's record?
Well, the current record is a total of 198 bananas.
Man, that's a lot of fruit.
Now, I'm going to turn this meeting over to Herbie Considine, who will be your student coordinator, and he will explain to you exactly how we are going to accomplish this feat.
Thank you, Miss McIntyre. All right, here's how we're going to set it up. This first trial is to eliminate anyone who can't eat 10 bananas at one sitting.
How do you know who qualifies?
When a student is finished, he simply turns in his banana peels.
And if he has 10 peels?
Then he qualifies for tomorrow's trials. 20 bananas.
Oh, then it goes up each day.
By 10. This not only eliminates the weak eaters, but it builds up the endurance and the capacity of those who make it.
The mind boggles.
Oh, there's Mr. Bean.
I'd better go talk to him. Mr. Bean, how are you?
Well, what do you think now?
I guess stranger ideas have worked.
I still wonder what's in it for Herbie.
Barbie, I know you'd qualify, and we need you on the team.
You can break the record without me.
No way. You'd be our biggest asset. Figuratively speaking.
Herbie, I eat because I like to eat, not for glory.
Barbie, if a person has got a special talent, and they can use that talent to help their fellow man, they owe it to the world to do it.
Like you do.
Barbie, it's a chance to get a great job for the summer.
I already have a great job for the summer.
Where?
My father's restaurant.
Barbie, remember the day this all started? Do you remember what you were eating? Bananas. Barbie, you like bananas.
Do you know what I think is ridiculous? That they've got to break the record. No, I just think that's a shame.
It's a shame they have to do this sort of thing to draw attention to a real problem.
Yeah, it's not enough to have a crisis these days. You got to have a colorful crisis.
Hi.
Herbie.
Yes, Mr. Kaufman?
Come here a minute.
See you in a while.
Right. Herbie, you worked very hard on this stunt, and very well.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Kaufman.
But, Herbie, you know, there's one thing that bothers me. We both know that there is a fundamental rule by which you live.
What's that, Mr. Kaufman?
Never do anything for nothing.
Well, sir, there's also another old saying. There's an exception to every rule.
There's never been one to this. Come on, Herbie. Confidentially, just between us, what's in it for you?
Mr. Kaufman, it hurts me deeply that you think I'm so selfish, so self-dedicated, so inhuman, so uncaring.
Okay, Herbie.
I'll see you later, Mr. Kaufman.
Kaufman?
Yes?
Charlie Hall, L.A. Chronicle.
Oh, reporter.
Samuel Kaufman, right?
Seymour Kaufman.
Seymour Kaufman. Miss McIntyre says you're the principal?
Oh, Miss McIntyre is right.
Anything interesting happen while you've been principal? Any riot, fire?
Well, if that's what you consider interesting, no.
Well, how about something personal? Any little human interest hook?
Such as, do I have a dog?
Yeah, well, that's the best you can do.
Mr. Hall, I would appreciate it if you would concentrate on the point of this whole project, which is to publicize our students' need for jobs, to call attention to their personal ingenuity, which is available to every employer in town.
Look, if they break the record, it's news. If not, it's just a lot of banana peels.
Are you nervous?
Oh, I'm just glad I don't have to eat anything.
You know, I had cereal this morning with bananas on it, just for luck.
Okay, team, let's go. Now remember, eat slowly, chew thoroughly, and take it one banana at a time.
What's the matter? You think I have no manners? You think I'd use both hands?
Bernie, I've got a lot riding on this. Don't blow it for me.
What do you have riding on this?
Jobs. For a lot of my friends and fellow students.
Do it. I'm starving.
Hi, Miss Johnson. Miss McIntyre, okay now?
Yeah, anytime you're ready.
Stand by. 1, 2, 3, go! Leon, you're not feeling fast enough. Let's go. Attaboy, attaboy. That's it, Bobby, that's it. That's it. Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. Bernie, right. Feeling a little faster.
Why'd you sit down?
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you.
Fun?
Yes, don't it well.
What's the record they're shooting for?
198.
They're getting pretty close, aren't they?
The last 42 bananas are the hardest.
Bernie, you're a quitter. A quitter. Come on, Bernie. Look at your teammates. Eat one more banana. Bernie, one more banana might make all the difference in the world.
Herbie, I couldn't eat another banana, even if I never got another job my whole life.
Bobby, this is Herbie. Remember? You like bananas. You love bananas.
I hate bananas.
Where's that skinny kid put it all?
I don't know, but I hope he's got a little room left.
Come on! 198 bananas, that ties it.
One more to go. When this is over, what do you say we go out and get something to eat?
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bananas!
Television coverage was pretty great, too. I saw it on 3 different channels.
It's not a bad article at all.
I wonder he didn't mention my dog.
I didn't know you had a dog.
You didn't know my name was Sam, either.
Masterson and Sons has reinstated their program proudly. Plus, I've had 8 calls from other companies so far. Fantastic.
Well, I guess Herbie knew what he was doing, huh?
I still wonder what was in it for him.
I know. John Bean told me.
Really what?
Well, for putting it together, the Banana Bureau gave Herbie $1 for each banana eaten and a $100 bonus for breaking the record.
I knew it. That little devil, Herbie Considine, claiming that he's not making a profit is like an elephant claiming he's not heavy. Wait till I see that kid.
Oh, Mr. Dragan! Mr. Dragan!
You were saying?
Let's see. Herbie! Herbie!